Okay. Anyway, I love hearing the thunder up here because it just seems to resonate a little bit more. But we are climbing our way up. We're going to get up to about 10,000 or 15,000 or 10,000 or 10,500 feet. In the woody parts right now. When we get up a little further, we're gonna be up in some parts where I'll probably stop the camera and make some separate videos. Hopefully I can get them all loaded on YouTube. My computer's pretty old and I'm not quite sure if it's gonna let me load anything. Don't mind me jiggling the camera there. That's just me trying to make sure that I keep everything in frame the way I want it. I don't know. I've been trying to get on alone for the past couple of years. I'd really like to see that work out at some point. Get confused when I see the aspens up here. I'm used to birch trees. If you're a big Minecraft fan or you live up in the North Woods like Canada or Michigan or upstate New York or something, you know what it's like seeing birch trees. These aspen trees up here, though, the skin on them is so white that you just look at them and think it's a birch tree, and you're all ready to go out and try and make a canoe out of it. It doesn't exactly work that way. That road right there we just went past, if you're paying attention to the sign, that takes you over to Wyoming 71. And if you ever come out here on a motorcycle, I would highly recommend that road. I'll probably do a drive-through on it next week, because it's got some really nice twists and turns that, well, if you don't know what you're doing, you might end up dumping a bike if you come out here. But yeah, now we're making the big climb up into the pass. In the background there, you can see the mountains. These mountains are called the Sierra Madres, or the St. Mary's. There's other hills called the Sierra Madres in Mexico and other places down in the southwest. But you get here and these are them, and this is a really, really beautiful piece of the world right here. And actually, if you ever read or listen to CJ Box, he has a book called Disappeared, where his hero Joe Pickett is in this area. He's in this area and kind of in an exile from the Fish and Game Department. Although, I don't know if you're happy with your job, any place where you can do it, you'd be pretty happy. But he writes about this area and some people from Michigan, or Michigan, if you happen to not believe that there's a lot of militias in Michigan. Well, those were his villains. Those are probably his two best villains were a couple of otherwise vanished Michigan militia guys who came out here to hide out. But one thing that authors from out here don't grasp, and authors from back east and down in lower country don't grasp, is how much, when you're out in this area, you really have to acclimate. First time I came out here, I was staying between 6,500 feet and about 8,000 or a little more, going over into the Jack Creek area, just southwest of Saratoga, Wyoming, and I ended up wondering why I couldn't catch my breath. Turned out I was so hypoxic that I could have died. So if you come out here, bring your own oxygen. Make sure you have... Oh wow, Rock Chuck. Hello, little Chuck. Anyway, come out here, you bring some oxygen. You can get small cans, that'll help. If you're really feeling ambitious, you can go over to a medical supply store and get yourself a bigger tank. And you know, you're not dumb for hiking up here with a cannula stuck to your nose and an air tank on your back, because, well, there's worse things that can happen. Vertigo can easily lead to finding your way falling off of something, and, well, falling up here isn't pleasant. winter, the town of Saratoga, Wyoming actually lost a member of the town council. And that happened because he came into an area up here called Avalanche Alley with a snowmobile, and he and his snowmobiling buddies ended up in a pretty bad way. If you're looking at the trees right now, you're going to see a lot of evergrey trees. They were evergreens at one point, but what happened to them is they've got this Japanese pine beetle out here. My wife says it's really pretty to look at, and I have a picture of looked like a little gold bug. But supposedly its larva, if it's the one I'm thinking of, actually causes that death on dry years. This year it's not going to happen because, well, spring out here has been very, very wet. So the trees should be able to make enough sap all winter, all summer, to strangle any beetle larvae that get implanted in them. And people don't realize that the sap of a pine tree is actually a natural bug, or natural insecticide. I'm just going to make a little detour here right off the road. This is pretty. I've been out here a couple of times in the fall or in the late summer, and I heard bull elk bugling out here